r/AskReddit. Pregnant women or women who have been pregnant. What is the worst/craziest advice someone has given you about your pregnancy? Don't raise your arms above your head. It will tangle the baby's cord and the baby will die. Came here to say this. Even worse. Kid was born with the cord around his neck and needed to be delivered by emergency cesarean for other reasons. I could tell she wanted to say I told you so. Both mine had their cords wrapped and I had 2 sections. But cords wrapped aren't really that unusual. But I'm sure she would have loved to I told you so me. She's also the woman that told me that she blames her 1970s potty training techniques for her daughter's bipolar. She feels like common practice was abusive and lead to all her daughter's mental health issues. My friend's dad was a chiropractor. She told him I had had miscarriages. He told me, no wonder. You will lose every pregnancy with a pelvis like that. Freaked me out so much, and I guess I ruined the party by crying and leaving. And my friend was mad at me. I have back trouble. Yes. But I have 3 children living. Why the duck was your friend mad at you? She should have been pissed at her dad for making such a cruel and inappropriate comment. Honestly hope you're still not friends with her. Why did the person even feel the need to tell her dad that anyway? Gossiping about your friend's miscarriages to other random people is just gross. Sounds like a jerk friend. When I was pregnant past my due date, a co-worker advised me to drink cod liver oil mixed with vodka. Apparently this mixture would upset my digestive system, give me horrible diarrhea, and thus trigger labor contractions. Edit. I did not drink this combo to help with being overdue. I ended up several days later being medically induced, and labor/delivery was swift and baby healthy. He is a grown man now. Because having a hangover and diarrhea is exactly what you need while you're in labor. For sure lol. I literally had no response for this co-worker's thinking. My mill said it's okay to drink mixed drinks. She went on to say that my husband was a margarita baby. I now call him that when he gets on my nerves. That is hilarious. Is it like, okay margarita baby, whatever you say. You want some lime with that salt? Margarita baby? My entire family was super judgmental / against breastfeeding for some reason. It was really strange. How long are you going to do that for? My in-laws were fully supportive of breastfeeding until my baby reached 6 months old. Then it went from you're doing the best thing for him to when are you weaning? It doesn't expire. Geez. Ugh. Yep. I very fondly remember the did you stop yet inquisitions. My in-laws kept telling me the baby wanted a steak. Don't worry about the swelling and high blood pressure. That's normal. My midwife days before being induced due to preeclampsia. Literally a life-threatening condition in some cases. A+ midwifery. It is a life-threatening condition in all cases, has to be assumed as such to treat as soon as possible. My very first OB visit, first baby, handed me a book about month-by-month pregnancy and said that if I had any questions to just refer to the book. Then I said, well, what if the baby? She cut me off right there and pointed to the book and said it's in the book. I changed OBs. Edit. Oh wow, this comment blew up. Also thank you Reddit for my highest rated one. Edit 2. For those who are asking, my question was not in the book. I had questions about the baby being premature. My brother and I were born very premature and I was going to ask her about it. And my baby ended up being born 3.5 months early and I had a lot of complications prior to that. Being high risk is not fun. But he's healthy now. Wow, that is complete hit. Imagine if every doctor did that. What an idiot. I'm imagining a psychiatrist giving all his patients a copy of the DSM-5. Doc, I'm having hallucinations and homicidal urges. RRR. Check the book. Not me but my sister. She had to have an emergency C-section when she had my niece. Her mother-in-law said she wouldn't be a real woman unless she had a vagal birth. I was 18 when I had my son and was already terrified. Had to be induced and ended up having to have a C-section because labor just wasn't progressing and his heart rate kept dropping. For the first 1.5 years of my son's life, my mother told me I wasn't a real mom because I had to have a C-section. I'm so sorry she told you this. I was a C-section baby as well. Honestly, recovering from an incision like that is rough, and I've heard horror stories about it. You're a real mom. When I found out I was pregnant, a nurse friend of mine felt the need to rattle off an endless list of shit that could potentially be wrong with my baby. Another friend of mine, when I started telling people I was pregnant after the 3 months and was accused of telling people too early, said it doesn't matter when you tell people. You could have a miscarriage at any point during your pregnancy. They both meant well. But really guys, lol, shut up. I announced my pregnancy after 3 months too. Friend of mine told me it was too early, and what happens if you miscarry? I told her I miscarried before, and if it happens then it happens. I'd just have to tell everyone. She said it would sound like I was backtracking. Okay lol. She said if it were up to her, she wouldn't tell anyone at all until she had the baby. She got pregnant shortly after and sadly miscarried at 11 weeks. At which point she decided to publicly announce her pregnancy and miscarriage. I was sad for her, but I found it hypocritical. She said it would sound like I was backtracking. Yeah. Lady. Keep your story straight. /s. When I found out I was pregnant a 4th time, 3 losses in row, I heard so many from strangers. Mine isn't necessarily advice, but more open mouth insert foot. Are you sure this one is going to work? I was also told if I was on my cell phone or around my modem/router it would cause brain damage to my unborn child. She's 4. Perfectly healthy. No brain damage, and let's just say it took a lot of medical attention to get her to full term. Edit my poor inbox. What caused my miscarriages? They said my hormones couldn't sustain a pregnancy, and after the 3rd I was told that with my hormone levels getting pregnant again wouldn't happen. She was a surprise and the best one ever. It took an educated doctor that wanted the best outcome. Previous doctors just looked at my history and was like, sorry for your loss, maybe next time will go better. The best day of my husband and mine's life was finding out that she was alive, thriving, and having an amazing doctor who moved heaven and earth to make sure she'd make it. He was at work when I found out. He actually yelled and his entire office heard him. He almost ran around the office. He was more excited than me. One more edit. Thank you everyone for the kind words in the comments. It really means a whole lot to me. Yay to the 4th time giving you your baby girl. My Mill. Don't eat spicy foods or stand under the moon. Ugh. As someone pointed out in the comments, it's the full moon, not just the moon in general. This was a decade ago, and my memory sucks. E2, the spicy thing comes from the superstition that spicy foods will give your kid a birthmark. Stand under the moon. Like don't go outside for 40 weeks. Don't walk around at night. That's pretty entertaining. Well, you don't want a baby, do ya now? I was about 8 months pregnant. I said something at family dinner one Sunday about how I was scared of labor. My gram shouts out, you know you should smoke a blunt. Now my family's open about their pot use. Most of my family will smoke from time to time, but my grandmother has never smoked in her life, so I was a bit confused. I just looked at her and keeps going. If you smoke blunts while you're in labor it will keep you calm and help with the pain. I'll find you some weed, just smoke in the bathroom of the hospital, but wear socks. You have ugly feet and the doctor won't want to help you if he sees your cracked heels. My grandmother is something. Edit. Thanks for all the comments. I didn't take my grandmother's advice, and the doctor delivered my baby even with my cracked heels. And once I had the baby and could reach my feet again, I made sure they weren't cracked anymore. This is the 2nd comment from an old lady about how a doctor won't want to help you if you're not attractive enough. WTF was up with doctors back in the day. I think it's more that with older generations women's value was largely considered to be their attractiveness and ability to keep a house. People can't tell how well you keep house without visiting. So the only way a stranger can assess the worth of a woman is by her visual looks, which was probably also considered to be an indication of how successful her husband was. Frozen cabbage leaves in the bra to help with swelling and pain due to breastfeeding. While it felt awesome for the whole minute or so they stayed frozen, they eventually turn to mush and make a mess. Advice I wish someone had given me: get a mattress protector. Not just for when your water breaks. Carrying a big baby next to your bladder means just the act of rolling over in bed can cause leakage. And if you are too tired after the birth to take the baby to a changing table or the floor, you're gonna want a layer of protection on your mattress. Soon as that diaper is off, baby will projectile poop. Sheets and walls can be washed, but mattresses can't be. Poop explosions are real. Prepare yourself. I wasn't told frozen cabbage leaves, but actual freezable gel pads. They were pretty awesome and helped get me through the first 2 weeks until the nips toughened up. Cabbage leaves are used to specifically help reduce or stop milk production. They will decrease your milk supply, so never use them to give relief to ouchy nips. Source: breastfeeding mom of 11-mo-old and survivor of mastitis 4 times. It's been recommended by my OBGYN, baby's pediatrician, doctor and nurse relatives to use if I throw in the towel with the breastfeeding thing. PS lanolin cream is great and it's safe for baby to nurse with it as well. When I was pregnant with my son, his dad's family tried to make me get rid of my cat. They said that the cat would crawl on top of the baby's face and suffocate him because he smelled like milk. One of his relatives actually went as far to say I was a bad mom if I didn't get rid of the cat. Son is 3 years old now and the cat has never given 2 hits about him. Edit: to clarify, yes, pets can potentially cause harm to babies, especially newborns. However, I never once feared for my child because I know my cat and he is not the cuddly type. If my cat had been more affectionate, I might have looked at the advice differently. But still, calling someone a bad mom for not giving up their cat over a situation that might never happen is pretty ducked up. Oddly enough, a male friend of mine, who was creepily fascinated by my boyfriend and I having a child, said to me, "You know you'll have to get rid of that cat once you get pregnant." A week or so after we adopted the cat. No explanation or anything. Just out of the blue, after randomly offering his girlfriend's assistance in helping me breastfeed. I have yet to even try to become pregnant. It's been 3 years since this happened. After randomly offering his girlfriend's assistance in helping me breastfeed, I feel the need to ask, was she lactating at that point, or was he offering something weirder? Oh, I was told that I need to shave down there or the baby will get carpet burn. Like, what? I feel like shaving down there would give the baby stubble burn. Just shave during the labor. What could go wrong? Taking a bath can cause a miscarriage. To be fair, it was from my husband's incredibly sweet grandmother, who meant well. She was 92 years old at the time and hadn't been pregnant in a very, very long time. She also had a good number of miscarriages. My father-in-law and his sister are 15 years apart in age. So I think she was coming from a different place than most. To be fair, you're not supposed to sit in very hot water. A regular bath. Okay, I've heard that before. But what's the definition of too hot? I like my baths to basically be straight hot water out of the tap. I'm not currently pregnant, so it's no concern. But I'm curious. One person told me I would never be able to fit a baby out of my body because I wasn't big enough down there and to just get a section, not a doctor. A random person who had literally never seen down there. No, I'm not going to get major surgery just because you don't think I'm large enough. I've had 2 successful vagal births. My mom is a petite woman, and she naturally gave birth to my brother, who was really close to 10 pounds. They became quite the attraction in the hospital as people saw the monster baby, checked the room number, then saw my mom, and wondered how the hell he got out of her. Pretty sure my mill had the same thing happen. My husband was a 10-pound baby with the widest shoulders on record at his hospital. Rat bastard neglected to tell me this until we were married. That I should drink a hitty MLM aloe vera juice every day. It's not advisable for pregnant women. Edit. Turns out it was indeed Herbalife. Too much aloe for anyone is dangerous. Let alone sketchy MLM hit. Too much aloe killed my grandma. She was suffering from bowel inflammation. So my stupid aunt decided aloe vera would fix that. As it turns out, it doesn't. Aloe vera, when ingested, can actually cause bowel inflammation and diarrhea and malabsorption of nutrients. So stupid aunt just made literally everything worse and killed her mother and then got pussy when she was left the least in the will. You are eating for two. No. You only need about an extra 300 calories during pregnancy. Are there going to be intense cravings and times where you indulge on those brownies or chips? Sure. Just don't go overboard and use pregnancy as an excuse to eat an entire batch of brownies in one sitting. My midwife said you're eating for two, but not two adults. Are you suggesting that a fetus at 6 weeks isn't craving 2 entire plates of loaded chili cheese fries? I've had an anti-vaxxer warn me off vaccines the day after I had 2 of them because I'll give the baby autism. Jokes on her. My husband and I are Aspies and from families of Aspies, so baby is probably gonna join the autism club anyway. They act like autism is worse than potential death or other things that can seriously duck up their life. Exactly. I've never understood this. Autism is such a vast spectrum. Why some people think it's a fate worse than a painful, avoidable death I will never know.